On today's special episode, we have an exclusive interview with one of the most controversial game farms here in Africa.
How many years on this planet do these animals have?
I would say 8 to 10 years.
I'm Richard Leonard, and this is Fieldsports Africa.
Today we're catching up with private rhino owner, game farmer, conservationist and entrepreneur Piet Warren to discuss how the decisions made at the CITES convention affect him as a private rhino owner and what he believes the future holds for these incredible animals. Firstly, Piet, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. This is really an incredible setup. And it's something so special to be this close to these incredible animals. So firstly, why rhinos? What made you start breeding and owning these animals in the first place?
It started all off by going to a visit in China and getting to know what the Chinese people think of rhino horn and the respect that they have for it and the acclimate that they want, how much they really think of it and want it. So I decided that that would be a long-term investment, and I started buying land and putting rhinos on that land.
I see some of the animals have shorter horns and some have longer horns. Are you removing these horns at all?
Yes, I'm removing every second year. You must remember it's worth nearly double the price of gold, which is the price in Vietnam is $65,000 per kilo. Now that's not what the poacher gets. The poacher will get about $11,000, but a rhino is now worth a lot more dead than alive. So I remove the horns every second year. That's why you see rhinos with long horns and rhinos with short horns. We removed a whole lot of them, the horns in this season. That's just gone past.
So you don't keep those horns on the property, they're not kept here?
No, that's too valuable. I put them in safety deposit boxes and I put them in different places until such time that I will be able to or will be allowed to trade with them.
So there is a risk to human life then?
Yes, the poachers have a weapon which they kill the rhino with, and if you confront them, they will shoot at you. And the park is shooting a couple of people per week, I understand presently. They've had 30% more people entering the park this year than last year, but up until the end of September they'd lost less rhinos. I think since then the rhinos in Natal and the private owners have lost a hell of a lot of rhinos, because what happens is when the demand is not met, the price goes up, and that puts more people into the field that are hunting rhinos.
The poaching situation is a little bit out of control at the moment in this area. Have you experienced any issues at all?
It's just too much money. It's not going to stop. We've now had a scourge this December of them having killed 3 cows. Up till now, I'd lost 19 rhinos. Now I've lost 22 rhinos, of which, you won't believe it, 18 were cows and only 4 were males. A rhino has a very keen sense of smell and unbelievable hearing, but they cannot see. So if the poacher moves upwind in the night, they put 4 or 5 pairs of socks on their feet. That makes their feet make the same sound basically as a rhino walking. A rhino bull will hear them walking. he will decide this is dangerous and he will run away. Maybe it's another big bull. Whereas a rhino cow will wait and see if it isn't a bull that's coming to say hello or another friendly rhino, and then they get shot.
So, how long ago did this animal get shot?
That was on Friday night. She was poached on Friday night.
So we're talking 4
days
days.
ago.
4 days.
Yeah.
What a horrendous scene.
Yeah.
So once the animal's been found dead, you get a team in and they're doing a full, you could say, like a crime scene investigation.
Correct. Correct.
If this brutality carries on at its current rate, if trade is not legalised, how many years on this planet do these animals have?
I would say 8 to 10 years.
So, in reality then, if we could meet or try and meet the demand from China, there's a good chance this animal would still be walking here today.
Correct. Very good chance. I would be able to afford the kind of security and fencing and stuff that would have kept them out, and she would have been alive.
So if the trade of horn was to become legalised, how much would she be worth then?
If you now take it as an investment, she would be worth 10 times her present value. That would mean 4 million rand or $300,000.
Like many private rhino owners, Piet Warren was hoping that the CITES Convention would show signs of pro-trade in rhino horn. However, the parties denied a proposal put forward by Swaziland for a well-regulated trade in horn. The question now is, where does this leave people such as Piet Warren? How have the decisions made at the CITES Convention affected you as a private rhino owner?
Well, I have to now pay for the feed and the protection and everything that goes with a rhino out of my own pocket, because I was hoping they would legalize it so that I could sell the horn and pay some of the costs. But now that didn't happen. Live rhinos are worth only a third of a dead rhino. Now, it's an old saying, if you're worth more dead than alive, you will die. And that goes for Africa, where we have so many people who are unemployed, so many people who need cash to just survive, that they will go out at night and physically shoot these animals.
So why do you think at CITES they showed signs against pro-trade?
The world is basically uninformed. They thought we were talking about dehorning all the rhinos in the park and in the nature. That's not what it's about. It's about physically farming rhinos like we farm ostriches and crocodiles, and even cattle were domesticated, sheep were domesticated just 3,000 years ago. So if you would domesticate rhino, you can see these are domesticated. We ring the bell and they come and they eat, and I feed them. So I would like to sell the horns of the product, because I don't kill the rhino, I only harvest what it produces. So they produce horn on a yearly basis. So if it was legalized, it would make a rhino worth more alive than dead. Now it's the other way around. If it's legalized, for the money that we would get, even if we got the poaching price, we could build stainless steel walls around our farms and keep the poachers out.
So as we go into the first couple of days of 2017, it should be about new hope, new opportunities, new possibilities. What do you think 2017 has in store for the rhino? And is there an opportunity to change legislation this year?
We have already won in 2 courts legislation in South Africa to sell a rhino horn legally. If we now win in the Constitutional Court, which is that case is before the government at the moment, the Constitutional Court, that will give us the right to sell horn legally. then we can do something, and which will increase and pay for the cost to look after these animals. We have vast amount of people now just looking after the rhinos to keep them alive.
So this money is coming out of your own back pocket then. It seems financially unsustainable. Do you mind me asking how much this is costing you every month?
It costs about $15,000 per month just the feed. And on top of that is the security, which is another 10 plus.
So Piet, maybe you do decide to retire one day. How do you want the world to remember you? Are you a conservationist, a farmer, a businessman? What do you think you are?
The start-up point has to be common sense, logic, money. You have to pay, something has to pay for itself. So when I started, that was the common sense of that it would be worth a lot of money, and that a rhino would be the best farm animal ever tamed if we could legalize it and deal directly with the Vietnamese or the Chinese to deliver them the product just like a sheep's wool. Nothing happens to the rhino. You just let it sleep every 2 years and we cut the horn off. Farming rhinos would give you a great opportunity of having the best farm animal in the world.
What an incredible day it's been discussing the threat of a species with someone as informed and passionate as Piet. Let's just hope these incredible animals are going to be around for our children and our grandchildren to see.